Hey guys, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I'm here in this video for a very specific purpose, okay? And the results have been published. We all know the cutoff. It was much lesser than what was expected. At the same time, a lot of students could not get through CSAT. So I thought maybe let me give you some D-Day preparation tip or last minute preparation tip for CSAT. Okay. So if you look at like last year, a lot of news articles were published. A lot of students gave the review that CSAT was by far one of the toughest exam that they had seen till the year, right? And it was actually a very tough exam, right? If you look at last 4 or 5 years of question papers of CSAT at least, you will realize that the question paper in 2021 and question paper in 2023 have been pretty much on a higher difficulty side as compared to others. But nonetheless, you need to realize that there are still students who cracked CSAT and went ahead in the further rounds. So, yes, is it difficult? Yes, but is it impossible? No. We can still crack it, and it's all the more reason now that we need to have a very strategic approach as to how we appear and how we attempt this CSAT exam, right? So some of the tips that I want to give you, or rather think of it like do's and don'ts of the exam, right? In any question paper, right, in the world, a question setter generally will not ask all difficult questions or all easy questions. There will always be a fair mix of some easy, some medium, some difficult, right? So if I look at CSAT, okay, I can generally somehow can say that uh, easy questions would be somewhere around 25 to 30%. Medium question would be somewhere about 40, and difficult question would be somewhere around 30. This is what my read is. Few questions here and there, right? So if you look at CSAT 2023, perhaps medium were 30 and difficult were 40, but they were still in a range. Now, if you, on the other hand, look at the cutoffs, or at least for CSAT, we need only 33%, right? So, in a way, what we can observe is if we can solve and target only the easy and medium level questions and leave all the difficult question, then chances are we will be in a pretty good position, because once we leave all the difficult questions, we'll be only targeting the easy and medium, and because you are solving easy questions, your accuracy will be higher. But the question is, how do you identify which one is easy and which one is medium, right? On the other hand, you have to leave all the difficult question. I say this is even more important, right? So when I spoke with some of the candidates last year, and how did they approach the exam, one common trait that I realized is most of them started writing the test from the first question itself. Meaning, they started with the first question, then second, then third, then fourth, and so on. The problem with that approach is there's no strategy there. You are just reacting to the question paper. If the first few questions are easy, you will have an easy time solving that paper. If first few questions are difficult, you will have tough time solving that paper. Now, what I have analyzed is when you look at A, B, C, D, four sets, okay, each set is divided into two parts, okay. So the first part is question number 1 to 40, and the next part is 41 to 80, right? So if suppose set A has 1 to 40, 1 to 10, then set B will have the same question in the question number 11 to 20. Set C will have same questions in 21 to 30, and set D will have the same questions in 31 to 40, in a way, right? So what they do is they take a bunch of 10 questions. If those 10 questions are in set A in the number 1 to 10, they will take the same bunch of 10 questions, put it in set B and maybe mark it as question number 11 to 20 and so on and so forth. What I have realized is question number 1 to 40 tend to be higher difficulty level. Question number 41 to 80 tend to be on a lower difficulty level. Okay, this is just my read of previous year question paper. Now, if you are someone who doesn't have a strategy and just goes on solving the question, chances are you will start with high difficulty level of questions, no matter which set you get. The first 40 questions will tend to be a little tougher. We will start with those. And then comes the common complaint that we did not have time to solve rest of the question. Why? Because you ended up spending most of your time in the higher difficulty level question. On the other hand, what a smart person would do is, a smart person would look at a question and ask himself or herself whether they want to attempt the question or not. Because if you get a feeling that a question is difficult, don't attempt it. Okay, don't try to break your head over a question which either is unfamiliar or you haven't solved such question before, or maybe a question which has too many number of calculations or too long a passage. Anything which basically is something that you have not practiced, do not solve those questions. The major complaint that we receive is that they start panicking. Students start panicking because they only attempt difficult question. Now, if the first 10 questions are difficult, you don't have strategy, and if you just start from the first question, go on solving the question as you get, you will end up spending 30-40 minutes just in solving the first 10 questions. And then you will start panicking because then you will look at the timer, you will realize 30 minutes have passed and you have barely solved any questions. And then what do? You start attempting as and when the questions that you get, you end up, screwing up your accuracy, you end up screwing your number of attempt, right? So what on the other hand you must do is, you read a question, ask yourself, do you want to solve that or not? If there is a feeling that you are getting that, okay, maybe I have seen such question before, or maybe you know how to solve it, then only attempt it. Okay. Now, it might so happen that you will end up taking a difficult question. That's fine. Because the moment you spend more than 5 minutes on a question, leave it. Then there is no point continuing solving that. This is something that is very difficult to do, by the way, right? Because generally when you spend, let's say around 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes on a question, you will always have that mentality that, okay, I have already spent 5 minutes, let me spend few more minutes. Because I have already spent 5 minutes, maybe I am closer to answer, and maybe I will get the answer in next 1 minute, so you continue. Only to realize that 10 minutes have passed and you are still on the same question. So what I as a thumb rule would request you to follow is, if you spend more than 5 minutes on a question, leave it. If you can't solve a CSAT question in first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, then trust me, you will not be able to solve it in 10 minutes. Because the questions involve a particular trick. If you know the trick, you will solve the question in 2 minutes. If you don't know the trick, you will have to make a lot of calculation guesses. You will have to try a particular method, then eliminate that method because it's not working, so you'll have to go to next method, and you keep doing that. 10-15 minutes you will end up spending on only one question. So what I as a thumb rule will suggest is, first you don't attempt a question if you feel you can't solve it. Okay, so in that way what will happen is, so you have somewhere about so you have to cover somewhere about 80 questions, right? and you have 2 hours. So what I suggest is in first 60 minutes, you should have read all the questions and solve all the easy ones. So here is a strategy. You read a question, and this is especially in quants and reasoning. You read a question. If you know how to solve it, solve it. If you don't know how to solve it, circle it and come back to it later. Right? If you definitely know you can't solve a particular question, cross that out. Do not ever attempt that in the exam. If you see a question which is entirely new, you have never seen it before, you have no clue about the concept, cross it out. Don't even try and attempt it in the hope that you will get it, because the time that you will spend on that, basically you are then not spending a time on other easy question and possibly score marks there. So, very simple rule. Number one, read the question. If you can solve it, if you have solved such questions before, attempt it. If you can't do that, move on. Either you cross that out, saying you will not attempt it, or you circle it, or maybe mark it for review and you come back to it later. Okay. Second thing, suppose you picked up a question and you are unable to solve it beyond 5 minutes, move on. Don't come back to that question. You are unable to solve it, accept it, move on. If you get stuck, that's a crime. Getting stuck in CSAT is crime. What do I mean by getting stuck? You are spending more than enough time on a particular question, and what happens because of that is you will start panicking, because you will look at the timer to realize that a lot of time has passed, and then you will end up making even more mistakes. So that's why I focus too much on leaving out the difficult questions. Okay. Now, would it really be the case that this time first few questions would be difficult like last year and last few questions would be not so difficult? I don't know. Okay. But what I definitely know is there are some easy questions in the exam. And if I don't attempt those easy questions, then it's a crime. As simple as that. You don't want to be in a stage where you end up losing a lot of time on difficult question. Time has passed, paper submitted, you come out of the exam hall, and then you realize, oh, the last few questions were actually easy. And had you attempted those questions, perhaps you could have got more marks. That regret is very heavy. It's very heavy to carry that regret as a burden till next year CSAT. Okay. So please do not regret on leaving easy question. And the best way to do that is scan the question paper in first 60 minutes. Read every question and solve all the easy question. Then in the next 60 minutes, you come back to the question that you have marked for the review. So that then you will be very sure that all the easy question that you could have solved, you have solved it. So you have given your 100%. Then you focus on the rest of the question. Then either you get it, don't get it, doesn't matter. At least you have scored real good marks in the first 60 minutes. Okay. Do not spend more than 5 minutes on any question, as I said. That is another way in which you can identify whether the question you have picked is difficult or not. So if you are someone who is real comfortable with the topics, make this 5 minutes as 3 minutes. So if you spend more than 3 minutes, leave it. If you are someone who is new to CSAT and has started preparing very recently, maybe for you 5 minutes is the benchmark. Okay. Then what should be the target attempt? So I have done my own analysis. I think good target attempt is 50 to 65, and I'll tell you the reason for that. Okay. So as you all know, exam is of 200 marks, right? 33% is about 66, 67 marks is our target score, right? So how many ways are there in which you can get this score? Okay. So one particular way is you attempt 27 questions, okay, and you get all of them correct. 27 questions, all of them correct. Each question you will get 2.5 marks. You will get 67.5, right? And you will clear the cutoff. Then each incorrect question incurs a 1/3 negative, right? So meaning what? For every correct question that you mark, you can make 3 incorrect in order to have the same score, right? So for every correct question, you get, let's say, +3, and for every incorrect question, you get 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 negative. So in a way, one correct question positive is equivalent of 3 incorrect question negative. So if I just fill in this table, then what do I see? That for suppose 30 questions net correct, 9 incorrect, total attempt is 39. Score is 67 and a half. Now, if I make one more correct, I can make 3 more incorrect and I can still have the same score, right? Similarly, I can make one more correct, I can make 3 more incorrect, and I can still have the same score. So meaning what? Every correct question will give you a leeway of making 3 incorrect. So if I follow this table, these are the strategies you get. Attempt 27 questions, get 27 correct, get 67 and a half. Or attempt all questions, about all the 80 questions, get half of them correct, and you will still qualify, right? Now these are two extreme scenarios. Like first few scenarios are quite extreme in a way because you cannot have that high an accuracy. Similarly, you cannot have a bottom few scenarios because you cannot solve possibly these many questions. Too many attempts is also not possible, and too high an accuracy is also not possible. So what you get is this middle ground. And if you look at this middle ground, it actually is 51 to 63. Right? We cannot be here and have a 100% accuracy, and we cannot be here and have a 100% attempt. Both are on the extreme. So both are not possible for a normal CSAT aspirant. So let's try to be somewhere in the middle. Good amount of accuracy, decent accuracy, and decent number of attempts. So if you are someone who is little high on accuracy, you might have written some mocks and you have realized that your accuracy is perhaps real good, somewhere about 70-75%, then you can attempt about 51 to 55. Right? You attempt 50 to 55 questions, you have a leeway of making about 18 to 20 incorrect, which is somewhere about 30-35% questions you can make incorrect. You can have 60-65% accuracy and you will still qualify. Okay? Or on the other hand, you have written mocks and you have realized that your accuracy is not improving beyond a point, maybe you increase the attempt. So here, if you attempt 63, about 27 you can make incorrect, which is about 40% incorrect, 60% accuracy. 55-60% accuracy is required. You will still score 67 and a half. Okay. So all I'm trying to say is 50 to 65 is, I feel, a possible attempt. Okay. For all those who are either struggling with attempt or are struggling with accuracy. Okay. See, one has to be good. Either you should be very good at your number of attempts, so even a low accuracy will give you very high score, or you should be very good at your accuracy and lesser number of attempts will give you a good score, right? But you cannot be bad at both. You cannot solve less number of questions and have a less accuracy. Then you will not qualify. And how does that happen? If you attempt all the difficult questions. If you attempt difficult question, accuracy will be low, and if you attempt difficult question, you will spend more time on that, so more time per question, so lesser attempt in the exam. So that's why it's all the more important that you leave all the difficult question. And the reason for that is very simple. It's just not worth it, not worth your time, not worth your effort. And downside are very high. Downside is very high. You might panic, your accuracy might be low, you might end up spending a lot of time, And combination of all of this, you will end up making a lot of silly mistakes in further questions that could have gone easier otherwise, right? So this is what I would suggest: target attempt between 50 and 65. In order for you to prepare well for CSAT, we have taken immense effort and have uploaded plenty of videos on YouTube. So we had an amazing response last year. Okay, I had uploaded this video where for 4 hours I just solved English questions. I solved somewhere about 75-80 passages. Okay, and all CSAT level passages with CSAT level questions, and you can basically refer to that video. Similarly, I did the same for quants and reasoning. For about 2 hours, I just kept attempting questions, just like practice. And then I have also uploaded the CSAT previous year question papers. This year, I have even done it better. This year, I have uploaded another video. You can find it on the Target UPSC channel, where I have solved even more number of English, even more possible questions. Looking at the CSAT of last year, I have modified some of my passages. I picked some of the passages which I think are very likely uh, uh, would be in line with what can be asked in CSAT. Okay, same goes with PYQ. And we are also now going to upload a quants video where I have solved for more than 3 hours only the quants and reasoning question. So what I suggest is, before you appear for your CSAT, make sure you give this 10-12 hours and just watch the video. You may or may not want to solve it, but at least by watching, even if you grasp 10-20% of that, chances are you will retain it while solving your CSAT, and it might help you. So we have made it as easy as it is for you. Just go and watch the videos, and it's all available for free. So you can get all the content, very high quality content, for free, right? So that's it from my side. All the very best. Do drop in a message to us. Join our Telegram channel. Join our Telegram group channel. In case if you have any doubts or anything, we are always available. Those who are the students of my course, you can always reach out to me via the official channels. I have been clarifying queries of most of them, so please reach out. On the other hand, if you are someone who has started for CSAT or is not really comfortable, you can join my course. In my course, within 30 hours, I have covered everything that is there to cover in English and quants. And personal guarantee, if you follow that, what I have given in those 30 hours, you will definitely score more than 33% in CSAT. Okay. So all the very best. I wish you all a very good luck and have a happy studying, everyone. Thank you.